love makes me want so much more. Use it for yourself. It gets better every time you're around. It gets better every time you're around. It gets better every time you're around. Every time. It gets better. It gets better. Your love makes me want so much more. Use it for yourself. It gets better every time you're around. It gets better every time you're around. It gets better every time you're around. Every time. It gets better. It gets better. Your love makes me want so much more. Use it for yourself.
This call is from a federal prison.
Here it is, the worst drug.
Use it for yourself. It gets better every time you're around. It gets better every time you're around. It gets better every time you're around. Every time. It gets better. It gets better. Your love makes me want so much more. Use it for yourself. It gets better every time you're around. It gets better every time you're around. It gets better every time you're around. Every time. It gets better. It gets better. Your love makes me want so much more. Use it for yourself. It gets better every time you're around. It gets better every time you're around. It gets better every time you're around. Every time. It gets better. It gets better. Your love makes me want so much more. Use it for yourself. It gets better every time you're around. It gets better every time you're around. It gets better every time you're around. Every time. It gets better. It gets better. Your love makes me want so much more. Use it for yourself. Music for your soul. Music for your soul. It gets better every time you're around. It gets better every time you're around. It gets better every time you're around. Every time. It gets better. It gets better. Your love makes me want so much more.
Let's get ready to capsule. We're back.
We're back
And
we're
we're working.
We're back and we're working.
We're working.
Everybody's working. You gotta stay working.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're here.
I'm Godson Tony,
Shopborn Infinite.
and we have
Brianne.
Hi,
Ford
Brianne.
Jazz. That's her Instagram, handle.
And all that jazz.
Look
All
me
that
up.
jazz. see her with them fingers right there?
Right, jazz fingers.
Ooh. So, how y'all been, man? How's your week or last week or weekend?
Constant elevation, no complaints. You know, the Mercury retrograde is in effect.
Ooh, it's definitely an effect. It's
Yeah.
definitely an effect.
But we grueling through it and drooling through it. You know?
I fell off my scooter yesterday off the Mercury retrograde. I haven't fallen off my scooter in almost a year. And I was trying to beat.
Oh, so this is a repeat offense.
It's sort of a repeat offense.
Oh,
It's like,
man.
yeah. So, I was trying to beat the snowstorm because, I don't like riding in this. I forgot there was going to snow.
Okay.
And I was in Manhattan yesterday, and I was trying to rush back. I said, oh, it's starting to drizzle, so let me try to get back to
Right.
Penn Station, hop on a train, hop off, get back here, which I did in, about 30, 40 minutes, real fast, considering I was coming from East 66th Street.
Oh, you was working.
So
Yeah.
through the little drizzles and everything, but I hit this. It was supposed, how they had the little side curves in Manhattan?
Got you.
It wasn't really a side curve. It was like it was more like a 2-inch side curve.
steep curve,
A steep
right?
curve.
Right.
And I hit it and I went flying over it. And there was this two couples standing there and they go,
Right.
you okay? Walk it out.
Walking out. Oh, give it up for the couple that said, walk it out.
And I said, nah, I'm
Right.
good. Hop back on and drove back home and put some ice on it, on my kneecap.
Well, I'm glad you're here with us, brother.
Oh, man, listen, man, I gotta be, man. I had to make it back for the show.
All right.
Yeah, so on this week, what we got going on, the rundown.
Oh, you know what? Musically, Shay Noir dropped. She's an artist that
And those that don't know who she is, can
often found on Griselda Records.
Griselda, that's the new
That's the new movement.
the new movement.
Doing a lot of great
If you're
things.
looking for bars, if you're looking for lyrics when it comes to hip hop, Griselda is the new team or the new hip hop crew. That's what a lot of people are listening to.
Yeah, she's from Buffalo. Sorry for those Buffalo fans yesterday. But other great things that happen in Buffalo.
Yeah. Also, we got Mayor Adams, New York,
He's at again, huh?
at it again. It seems like he's making a lot of noise these days.
Mr. Cryptic himself.
Oh my God, crypto.
Crypto.
So
He's getting paid in crypto. His first check.
his
I
first
think,
check was
being
in cryptocurrency. Did
Right.
you know that?
Is it Bitcoin or Ethereum?
Ooh, that's
the question that needs
That's
to be
the
answered.
question that needs to be answered. Is it Bitcoin or Ethereum?
Maybe it's Adamarium.
Maybe he has his own coin.
Right.
You know, that he's going to pay his work, you know, the staff. We're
going to keep an eye on him. We'll keep y'all posted.
As a matter of fact, we'll be looking into that to see whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum.
Yeah, we'll have something back for you next week.
And we'll get back to y'all next week, next shows, and stuff like that.
On a sadder note, 6 New York City adults and a child were arrested for going to the museum
without a
vax card.
Without a vax card. Is that what? And they were, wow. Yeah, wow. And please add another wow because
wow.
Because they were not our color.
Well,
they were the other color. I would have thought that, you know,
life is a rainbow. Don't get caught in the rain.
But
right.
I mean,
yeah.
Couldn't they have been more sympathetic and just walk them out like they usually do?
Hey man, this New York
or
City.
is this what it's coming down to?
This New York City, people have been arrested for sitting on a milk crate before.
Oh wow.
Let's not forget those days.
I mean, but also, did you notice that because of this whole epidemic that's going on? Pandemic. I'm sorry. Yeah. I said epidemic. Pandemic. I mean, epidemic, pandemic. Yeah. It's still demics.
Potato.
Okay, but did you notice that a lot of Broadway shut down?
Yeah.
A lot of Broadway shows are shut down.
Yeah. So, it's a shame. And I have such mixed feelings about everything.
I kind of got mixed feelings about that, too. You can't go see your plays no more.
Well, I think of from the perspective of the musicians.
And the workers, too.
And the workers, yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And the actors. Well, I don't know if that's the right emotion for that. But it does deserve a damn, though.
Right.
But
I mean, the worst part is there's no unemployment. That's the part.
Yeah.
That's the part. So if they're going to shut it down.
So what?
We need to talk to someone about what essential is. Because essential for you and what's essential for us may not be essential to other people. But I think with us walking around with masks and getting vaxxes and stuff like that, we're losing humanitarianism. You know what I'm saying? Being human, being in touch with each other's feelings, emotions, and things that make us happy and things that we enjoy. You know, and that's what we're going to get into a little later. About,
communication.
Yeah.
Commune.
Right?
The communing.
The community.
The community.
I like how you said commune, too.
Yeah, but that's what, I mean, when you look at communication, you can't communicate by yourself.
Hey.
You need...
Well, you can. If you want to call that conversation.
I don't know what kind of conversations you're having with yourself, but...
right.
Yeah.
Just as long as you don't answer back.
Right.
Yeah, don't talk back to yourself. So Video Music Box. What's going on with that?
Video Music Box. Salute to Uncle Ralph.
Yeah. You know,
doing big things.
Give us the first one. Yeah, there you go. Give us a few of those. There you go.
In a project, a joint project with Showtime and Massive Pill.
That's Nas's.
Nas is doing a documentary.
Independent label.
Yeah. Big up to Nas.
Nas has been doing a lot.
He's out here working.
Yeah, especially since he put the label in place and the restaurant. You know, he got Dave East on the label. Dave East been shout out to Dave East.
Shout out to Dave East.
With the crypto.
Right.
You know, he's killing it with the what's that the new app?
Coinbase.
But what's the app? The doorbell.
Oh, Ring.
Right. Give that a. Yeah, that's the electronic doorbell that you can look at on your phone.
That's Nas too.
Yeah, he has money in that.
He invested in it early in the game.
In that early.
We spoke about it last week, but I'll put you on.
But you see, like
44 million, I think. 44 million. They sold it for 1.2 billion.
Wow.
See that? Yeah. See that? So, listen.
Wow.
I go to work.
That's a good flip.
I go to work and I tell you that doorbell really works. You know, it's on the back door. Boom, boom. You press it, and everybody can actually go on the app. People that live in the house can go on the app and look at your face and look at who's at the doorbell, and even talk from wherever they are.
Who's that?
Who's that? Hey, good morning, good afternoon. You're late. boop, and buzz you in.
Okay.
And then they can also lock it too. So that's a good.
On a softer note, before we go to the commercial, just wanted a moment of silence for Ian Alexander Jr.
Oh yes.
That was Regina King's
son.
Is Regina King's son.
Is
26
Regina
years
King's son.
old.
26 years. He was a musician.
Yeah, musician.
Yeah. I mean,
and it
rest
was a
in peace.
suicide alleged. So,
I think we need to do a show about suicide or just mental.
We're gonna continue the continuum.
Yeah.
We
Eventually.
we don't preach it, but we're trying to format it so it's a common conversation in everyone's household. Health and wealth, people. Health and wealth.
Check in with your folks.
Check in with your folks.
And make sure you're having the right conversations to make sure they have the emotional balance that they need.
So let's go to Jimmy Henchman. We got.
Yeah. Speaking of Jimmy Henchman, that was a big name in hip hop. But
Still is.
It still is. And he sent his commercial to his podcast that he's working on, and we'll let you guys get a glimpse of that. And
He supported us. We're gonna support him.
Yeah, we're gonna support. Salute. Hey, you never know. He might be home soon.
That's it. Health is wealth, guys.
All right,
Let's
boom.
go to that.
Thank you.
This call is from a federal prison.
Here it is, the worst drug law that they have on the book. They gave it to me. The worst one. Like there's no other higher drug count in the United States of America, and I got that.
In the federal criminal justice system, the United States government wins 95% of the cases they prosecute.
They created a whole other character that didn't even exist, that only existed in the imagination of boys and girls who believe in boogeymen.
Let's be clear. Nothing in life is a 95% sure thing, unless the outcome is rigged.
I was the perfect scapegoat for these guys.
Inside the daunting percentage of convictions in the federal system lies a web of deceit, corruption, and dishonesty that goes to the core of the United States Attorney's Office.
I can tell you when the Southern District of New York, like it would have been in my case with the Eastern District of New York, when federal prosecutors bring a case, I would have to say on the most part they bring cases they think that they could win.
The story of James Rosemont, or Jimmy Henchman as he was called, defines not only the United States government's perspective on a hip-hop businessman, it illustrates the broken policies of mass incarceration and America's failed war on drugs.
I was the perfect lane for these prosecutors to make a name of. To say in the New York Times that we've finally taken down Jimmy Henchman. Like this is a game. Like this is, I'm public enemy number one. It was ridiculous to me.
Hosted by Michael K. Williams, this is Unjust Justice, the James Rosemont story. Premieres February 21st, wherever you listen to podcasts.
You can convict Jimmy Rosemont honestly and fairly and legally, or you can cut corners, you can lie, you can rely upon people that are committing perjury. That's what they did. The stuff that happened in Jimmy Rosemont's case was by far the worst.
And we're working.
And we're working. Okay.
Here with Shabon Infinite.
And Goss Antonio.
And
Bree.
hi, Bree.
Here with Brianne for Jazz.
With the fingers.
With the fingers on Instagram.
Yeah.
So, today's conversation is a very interesting one. It's been echoing for a while in society.
Right.
Emotional ambush. That's the title of the show, actually. And it's a lot of conversations when it comes to like male, female dynamics, whether black male, black female interactions, white male, black female, like just in general.
Yeah, well, me being a black male, I just got to start with my my own identity and be able to master and maintain that first.
Give a shout out to that.
Yeah.
That deserves a round of applause because not a lot of men actually go from that perspective.
Right. I mean, we're aware of everything that exists around us, but knowing yourself is half the battle. And before you can know anybody else, you have to know where you've come from, possibly have an iota of where you're going. But you can't possibly know where you're going if you don't know where you came from and where you are right now at this present moment. Right? So, and that's why we have lovely guests here with us.
Yeah,
today.
we have a few lovely guests. Are we ready for Sarah?
I think so.
Sarah, can you hear us? We can.
Still working on the technical.
Still working on the text.
Well, they working on the text, so give us a second. But in the
But we
studio
do have
here,
Bree here.
we do have Brianne Ford here, and we'll let her introduce who she is.
Yes, give us your
and give us a
background.
little background of who she is. Before we get down right into the conversation.
Okay, so it was a cold, dark night.
See how she started off? She started off with this. It was a cold. I was about to be like, speak up,
I mean,
girl.
it's almost audiobook-esque. I was like, oh, wow.
There was this one time. Anyways, so my name's Brianne, and a little about myself. I'm from New Orleans. I'm a musician. I'm an educator, and I'm excited to be here on this show tonight.
We're excited as well.
So
We're excited.
get to chat it up and hang out a little bit. And
Well, say New Orleans again.
New Orleans.
I thought she was gonna say no.
Oh my goodness. So there's different types of New Orleans accents, and I actually have one, but mine is a little more like there's an uptown accent that's a little more broad.
Okay.
There's like a Ninth Ward accent, there's a Seventh Ward accent, there's a country accent, so it's a little bit of everything.
Okay.
So if I have shots, I just sound like Beyonce. I don't mean singing, not singing though.
Getting deeper into the realm of...
Sarah, can you hear us yet?
I can hear you guys.
Oh, there we go.
Welcome, Sarah.
Thank you.
How you doing?
All these beautiful
I'm
smiles.
excited to be here. I've been looking forward to this conversation since Tolu brought it to my attention last week. So let's get it popping.
Oh my gosh, we've been looking forward to you too. Such a beautiful smile. Look at that.
Yeah.
All these beautiful smiles.
We're
here.
surrounded.
You see? So it was only right, I couldn't have this conversation with just me, you, and another guy on the show.
Right, that wouldn't be fair.
It wouldn't have been fair.
Right.
It would have been like who are these guys, what qualifications do they have to have this conversation?
Not only that, would we really learn from it?
True.
And that's why we're here.
True, because I need some feedback.
Right. It's okay for us to project as men who have some knowledge of what is going on, but to actually be able to reciprocate and to mesh, to meld with those who have that other I won't say complexity. I want to say they have the truth, their truth, right, and our truth, and hopefully we can bring
all truths to the light.
Our truths, right?
Our truths to the light,
right?
Because there's not a right or wrong,
right? But it's a conversation.
It's a conversation, and why are we scared to have these conversations? Why do we run from these conversations?
Sarah was speaking earlier about communication it being key, and it being should be one of the foundations of even dealing with relationships.
True.
And we went through a whole spill before we even got on Zoom. So what we want to do today is re-enter that energy and say, where do we want to start though?
How do we
emotional
communicate?
ambush?
How do you
why? So emotional ambush.
Well, let me just give you a context of where that conversation started from, just so maybe we can
recap.
We can recap and then move from there, because I have a list of where we could start. How do we communicate with each other? But where did that start from? I went on Clubhouse a few days ago, early in the morning. It was like 8 o'clock. Walked into a room of about 200 plus women, and
give it up for Tolo. Walked in a room. A digital room.
A digital room.
But it was 200 women in there.
Listen, I was like, King. Whoa, what's this crowd going on? I want to go see, represent for the men.
And then what happened?
And then I get there and it's like, the title of the room was Are Parents Responsible for all black males being misogynist? Wow. And that kind of triggered something, and I walked in and I listened for a little bit, and at first my first instinct was to defend all males, because I heard a lot of F-bombs and S-bombs and men ain't this and men ain't that and this and that, and if a mother ever do this,
and why didn't you?
I'm a blast.
And why didn't you be the misogynist that we're labeled to be?
I mean. But watch this, though. So I waited and I listened, and then I started understanding that maybe, after hearing some of their experiences, I said, you know what? Maybe they're right. Maybe because of their personal experiences, maybe some men, not all, are, have some work to do.
I agree with you.
So
we need work.
So when it came to Mike, a lot of us do need work, and a lot of us that have done work still need constant work. You see,
constant elevation. I always say that.
Because the thing is, just because you've done work doesn't mean that you can't revert back to your old way of being. Sometimes it just shows up, and then it's easy to, if you've not fully mastered the new grounds, it's easier to revert back to your old way of being.
Let's give the ladies a spin. They weren't there for that interaction on Clubhouse.
But to round it up.
Okay.
So that interaction on Clubhouse ended kind of on a sour note. Because when I got my chance to speak now, because I had a new view of the conversation, I kind of was tiptoeing on eggshells because I didn't want to offend any of the women in the room. So right there, again, it took away from who I'm being, because now I'm being conscious of my actions.
Okay.
And that's not usually me. I like to be.
Well, you were in a meta room of 200 women.
I was. So guess what I was being.
Some would have called that a paradise.
Listen, I was hoping it could have been so anywho, so I was given the mic and I said something along the lines of, when I first came in here, I was kind of under the wrong impression, and I was kind of misjudging, because what it sounded like to me initially was, angry, hurt sisters, and as soon as I said that, I was booted out of the room.
Well, there are some key words.
Exactly. So you see.
No, he said keywords back to back too. It was like a machine.
So it was like a machine. So I was kicked out the room ASAP, and I was like, and then I'm listening from the other side of the room, and all I heard was, "Who the heck does he think he is coming in here? Did you hear what he started off with? Hurt? Who's hurt?" So, and then there was other sisters, two other sisters that said, "Well, bring him back, let him finish, because we all have our own opinions, and we didn't let him finish."
Okay.
And and then the sister was like, "No, trust me, I know these kinds."
So can I interject?
Yes.
Because I've been sitting for a second, and I want to track back to what you were talking about, the actual topic, and kind of go from there to backwards.
Yes.
So, on the topic of emotional ambush, one way that women are emotionally ambushed usually starts with, "Who hurt you?"
Who am I?
No, who hurt you?
Who hurt you?
Yes, who hurt you? So you might be actually speaking your actual piece, and somebody will say, "Who hurt you? You must be bitter." So then everything you've said or everything that you're saying is framed around that. And it's that is a perfect emotional ambush. So you might not have been.
I felt bad.
Right.
I felt bad. Like, you know, 'cause
Right.
the impact on me, I know I left the impact in the room to 200 people.
But that's like
maybe,
a trick.
Well, maybe 198, you know. And maybe I triggered something.
It's a triggering statement because you could be very vulnerable and saying, and you know, vulnerability and anger, they're all part of the whole human experience.
Well, what about chivalry? What about it? What if the man is trying to actually be a knight in shining armor?
I really
not save the day, but just understand your day.
Context.
But you see the other part of the conversation.
But she said ask her the question. Someone asked the question, who hurt you?
So
maybe it was not who. How did you get
so
hurt? Maybe.
it brings
That's
us
a better
to
conversation.
it brings us to the first question of the conversation.
Right.
How do we communicate with each other?
You hearing us, Sarah?
I'm here with you, and I'm listening to the very valid question that was, who hurt you?
Okay.
So what do you have to say about the conversation so far?
Well, first off, I just want to introduce myself.
Oh yes, please. Oh, you know what? Give us a.
That was very misogynistic of us. Stop it. We're gonna do this again. Peace, Queen.
No. Let's start
peace.
over.
Yes, I want peace.
That was very rude. So
I don't want no confusion.
So
I'm not Godson. I can't go into a room with 200 women. I'm bringing phone and backup.
So we did get carried away with the conversation right away. And that was also due to them fixing the audio.
A little technical difference. Frozone.
No, we're not gonna point fingers at nobody. But we got into the conversation before we could actually introduce her. So
yes,
the right way.
Yes.
So we're gonna take the right way to introduce straight from British Virgin Island.
Peace to the Queen.
Go all the way, man.
Sarah
Elizabeth Harrigan.
Oh,
Coach Sarah Elizabeth Harrigan.
That name sounds royal.
It
Like
is
royal.
royal.
We thought
British
we were.
Virgin. Listen, if you was born on a British Virgin Island,
yes,
your parents better give you a darn royal name.
Well, let me straighten her crown via Zoom.
Give us some claps and all of that, you know. Yeah. So, Sarah, Coach Sarah, would you take the time out to introduce yourself real quick, and then you can go into the conversation.
So my name is Sarah Elizabeth Harrigan. I was actually born in San Francisco.
Oh, dumbass.
Virgin Islands. So yes, very much a goddess and queen. But what I'm doing here in my human existence is I am all about self-awareness and self-actualization, and most importantly, self-expression. So when we talk about the question, who are you? I think that's a very important question. Who hurts you, sorry? It's a very important question because what we experience between the ages of 0 and 7, that's when we feel loved the most and when we also hurt the most.
Yes.
And sometimes we attribute things that happen in relationships to a specific person when in reality, that's actually triggering something from our childhood.
Re-traumatization.
So self-awareness piece and knowing yourself and checking in with what was my childhood experience to love and relationships and different experiences, then we start to point the finger at the man across from us or the woman across from us, when in reality we need to do that work on us.
Give her some for that.
Pow. Powerful.
Beautifully said, Queen.
Powerful.
Indeed. Coach, Queen, all these.
So how do we, excuse me, knowing that we have these breakdowns, how do we communicate with each other? How do we move on and effectively communicate with each other the right way? Not the back and forth, because if you go in certain rooms on Clubhouse after the hours of 8 a.m. in the morning, it's like a back and forth. It's like they don't even listen to each other.
Well, we're gonna start on this podcast, on this capsule, by giving some order so that we can hear each other and so we can share the experience. So treat this as a round table, even though we're not at a round table.
Gotcha.
And so we'll answer the questions in that format. So when you said the statement, and then we'll pass the mic.
Okay, well, how do we communicate with each other?
So I think that when we talk about communication, we also have to, from the bottom, the base level of, do we all speak the same language? That's the first thing. Do we speak the same language? And I don't just mean English, but are we speaking and saying the same words? Now, I said something about the you who hurt you in context. Everything for me has context. So if we're speaking the same language and we're coming from a place of honesty and we're coming from a place of compassion and empathy, then that is a valid statement. But do people speak where their words have integrity? So do they say what they mean? Are they meaning what they're saying? Are they saying one thing, but they're implying another? So you have to just make sure that everybody is saying or speaking the same language.
Wow.
Well said.
And I had to check myself at the door of that conversation or that room to make sure that I was speaking or in the same alignment and not being an imposter. So, because even after I was booted out, guess what? I didn't point the finger at them and say they were wrong. I was checking myself to say, where was I wrong in my communication, in my entrance? And that's where I say, how do you feel when you unintentionally frighten people? When you walk in a room and because of my beard or my appearance or because of the hoodie I got on, people think I'm there to rob a bank or I frighten a little child or a young lady or whatever. Like, it's not just in relationships. It's just in general, in society.
Salute to you, King, for having insight. We can't represent all of us, but we can represent ourselves to our very best, effect. I'm gonna pass the mic to Sarah, and then I'll carry the boot. I'll come in at last.
So, when we say do we speak the same language, what comes to mind for me is a quote that I got from Oprah. And she talked about the fact that we all experience things in different ways. However, we all have felt the same feelings. And for me, the language I speak is energy. Like, I can feel. You can always feel what's going on in a space. Just like I know in this conversation, we're here for building awareness, right? So that people can feel empowered to have powerful communication. So I know this is coming from love. Whereas if you're in a situation where there is that back and forth and discord, you can feel that. So we may not speak the same language per se, English, Spanish, Japanese, but we can certainly feel. And if we come from an authentic space of how we're feeling, we communicate clearly, that you realize that we're normally on the same page.
Very nice.
Very nice.
I'm gonna keep it short and sweet, and I'll just say the it factor, and the it being the I for integrity and the T for truth. And truth is trust. So being it, not being the shit, but being it that started all this shit, right? So now I can go into a conversation and approach it very wrong. And for sis to say,
That's
what
a
do
nice
you mean
spin
by
on
that? And for me to pick up on that energy and say, you know what? Let me start again.
That's a nice spin on it. Because in other circles, it has never been so positive.
Right.
But for you to break it down like that, integrity and trust.
Right. And that, I think if we employ ourselves or empower ourselves to be the it for ourselves, we can be the it for each other, or we can be the it together.
So you're saying I evolved it.
Let's evolve the it.
Oh my God, I love it.
Right.
Okay. So they're cueing us saying we have to go to commercials.
Okay.
So we'll go to this commercial and we'll be back in a few.
Wonderful communication we're having.
Oh, I love it. This is good.
Thank you, Queens.
We should do this more often.
We
bring
will.
More queens to bring more structure and balance.
We will.
See how we're not like heatedly debating? Like,
No.
Is it because they here?
Possibly. Let's be honest.
Okay.
Man, same token.
Market. Let's go to Wisecrack. Let's go to Wisecrack. The coolness.
The coolness.
Coolest hats.
It's not what you wear, it's how you wear it. Clothes or scars, flyest person in the room could be the brokest. When I say broke, I don't mean financial, I mean spiritual. People entertained with your stress, but bored with your success. Make sure your smile matches your outfit. Fashion fades, style is eternal. Another page in the old boy journal. Coolness.
On the capsule.
So, we'll start. We'll go into a different segment. Like I'm saying, what are some of the breakdowns in communication? I think I'll let Coach Coach Sarah, kind of break down some of some breakdowns in communication that because she coaches a lot of people. She's a life coach.
Right.
We're not even gonna go into that today. That's a whole different conversation, you know.
Well, if she chooses to, let her. You know, she may.
Well, she can share some of her experiences, but I'm asking, what are some breakdowns in communication when it comes to relationships that she's experienced, that she's coached people from her personal experience, you know?
Yeah, so I really love what Shaw said in terms of integrity and truth, because I feel, and what I've experienced as well, and with my own life, within my clients' lives, is where we have a breakdown in communication is when we aren't speaking our truth, or requesting what we really want, or speaking up when something goes the way we don't accept. That's usually where the most miscommunication or problems in communication exist. Because there's a need for self-expression, right? If you're experiencing something or in a situation that doesn't work for you and you somehow feel like you can fix it or you don't need to say anything right now because it will fix itself, then there's a lack of acknowledgement there and it continues to build, right? If you allow someone to do something once, they'll do it over and over again.
So would you say owning it? Would you say owning that situation and so that you can change it or redirect it is the key?
Absolutely. And even though, we sometimes don't acknowledge things, there might be one person who may say, hey, we can talk about this now. Another person's like, nah, I'm good, right? That doesn't work because now that thing that has happened has not been acknowledged. It hasn't been hashed over. So one person may feel like they've gone over it and moved on, and the other person is still there on it. Like, dude, I can't move forward until we have this conversation.
Wow.
So again,
That's
back
deep.
to the honesty. How are you honestly feeling about whatever it is? Put it on the table. Let's determine, did I really need to say that? Did I mean it how you took it? Like, if we don't get deeper into things, we usually go with this surface level assumption. And when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. It never works.
Mm-hmm. Surface level assumption, surface level communication. So it's like communication at the surface level. Hey, how you doing? I'm good. Just enough not to ruffle the feathers. What do you think?
I think that a lot of it is also socialization and how you're raised, and also culturally speaking. For one, a lot of us come from, we come from different cultures in terms of, South, you're from Africa,
Nigeria,
you're from Newark,
the Bronx.
For the Bronx. I'm sorry, boogie down.
That's right. I love Newark, though.
Okay.
Jersey City
All
in
right,
the building.
All right. Okay. However, there are cultures that say, your children are not are seen; they are not heard. You're not able to articulate, hey, I don't like these Brussels sprouts. Right. There are Brussels sprouts are delicious though, but I digress. We're not taught as individuals, culturally or even gender-wise, how to articulate our needs, how to say no, how to say yes, how to speak up. So all of those things that are required in communication, that little tool bag, I'll be honest, a lot of people, including myself at one point, and even still, don't have it. And we're learning it as we go. So unless you grew up in I feel and I think that we should, unless you grew up in a household like that, learning how to communicate in a way that's authentic and real may take some time.
Yeah, a lot of people. That's funny you say that because a lot of people dwell in, I think communication. Like even on a, you just brought back memory. Like even on a Clubhouse conversation I was in, all the communications was I feel and I think and I
emotional.
Yeah, and I just wanted to just get up there and just tell them like, I feel and I think is not real. I wanted to scream that out so bad.
But that's how you feel.
I think is.
That's how you felt. So we're talking about emotion, right?
Well, until you communicate it, until you have facts or something. If I told you, show me feelings right now, you couldn't show me feelings.
But I break it down for you.
Break it down.
I'm a scientist.
Okay.
So emotions.
Yeah.
Emotions are energy in motion.
Yeah.
Right? So there's negative energy and positive energy.
Yeah.
And if we took algebra class or pre-algebra class, we know that two negative energies make a positive. Why? Only because you get the experience. It doesn't mean that you're going to have a positive output of that energy, but you now know if you put two negative charges together, it births a positive influence.
Listen, bro, I love.
He loves me so much. That's my bro.
Yo, I love how you broke it down.
So now I'm gonna say emotionally. How emotionally involved are you? Are you so emotionally involved with yourself that you don't see anyone outside of your room? Your space, meaning your person, your body, right? Ooh. So now, when I take that in perspective, and I say to myself, I say, well, I want to be treated a certain way, so I should treat others that way. I think the ladies touched on that, the how and the what. No, the what and the where it starts. I'm gonna say how. Now, how is again, Bree spoke about where we come from, your background,
Cultural background,
your culture,
how you was raised.
But
your
when
family.
you look back at grandma, and grandma may have went through 40 years of pain, but you never experienced that pain or were able to know that she was in pain until that day she sits you down. Let me tell you something about life, son. And you're blown away because no professor in any college can give you the information that she would give you in 10 minutes that you'll pay 80, 100, upward, up 100,000 to go to school for. So that trauma, Sarah spoke on the fact that from 0 to 7 is those years in which we are molded.
Yeah, that's where you learn sponge. You soak up everything.
But we soak it up. When are we able to
use it?
To use it in real life experience, not until you've gone through an experience.
And are you using it responsibly?
So I'm gonna start with myself. First female interaction with a young lady that I like was probably around 7. And we were in the sandbox. And I thought I was doing her a favor by passing her the shovel and the bucket.
And what happened?
She poured the bucket of sand on me. And I said, well, I was just trying to help you out. She said, I don't need no help. That's your side and this is my side. Now I understood. Sides. This day and time, you ever slept on your significant other side of the bed? Oh, you gonna get a wake up, brother. So now it took me back to
draw
trauma.
The line. They draw the line like
of what lines are we drawing? See, you got it. This is why he's my brother. When we draw a line, even though it be invisible, do both parties buy into the line drawing? See, if the line looks like it's equal parts, we may, as men, buy into it. But if we draw a line and our size looks like a lion's share, a woman will tell you, oh, that's not equality. That's not equal. So we have to, what? Re-engage and recertify the situation so that we can communicate. It's a to and fro thing. So I'm not going to take up all the mic time because we got to share it with them.
I love it.
Yeah.
So what are some vested interests when it comes to communication? Like, or how, should communication have vested interests, invested interests? Should communication have expectations?
We'll start with Bree this time.
Okay.
So,
So
real quick, last one. Should communication have expectations, and should it come with social expectations?
So clarify for me.
Okay.
Are we talking general communication between humans or men and women?
Well,
Because
men and women.
there's overlap.
There's a lot of overlap.
There's a lot of
overlap. But we're specifically boiling it down to men and women.
And are we specifically talking about men and women who are in a partnership or dating, or just men and women in general? Because
relationship could look like all kinds of stuff. It could look like partnership. It could look like dating.
Okay.
It could look
See how she drew the line?
It could look
she
like
wants to know where she
It could look like
defines it.
business.
Okay.
But, I think the area that we're talking or we're
Okay.
really pointing out is more so in the relationship aspect. Like the dating.
Relationships. Let's get to the tea, y'all.
Yeah.
Get to the tea.
Exactly.
Come on, man.
So, relationship looks like everything else, but we're focusing on that. Like,
So,
men and women.
men and women. I think that
dating scene.
the dating scene. I think that two people need to be on the same page or
Okay.
similar pages. I also think that in terms of communication, you need to have similar communication styles. I know my communication style. I'm a little soft-spoken, and I'm realizing this now as an adult, but I grew up in a house full of women who spoke soft-spokenly. So when I interact and I meet someone and they're yelling, it messes me up, because it's like oh, why are you yelling? And it took me a while to realize some people's natural timbre is this: when they're excited, they're not aggressive. They're just even culturally speaking, they're just loud.
Well, would you say that opposites attract as far as in relationships, so that even though that timbre, I would say that the woman that I would want would be someone closer to my mother's aesthetic, but not being my mother. But growing up in a single family home, my mother had timbers. So I do want a woman that's strong and that can be outspoken, but in the same token, know how to be submissive without being docile and timid.
Oh, you said the S word.
I was just about to tell you.
I'm just being honest.
Oh, you said the S word.
But submissive is not a bad thing.
But submissive is not a bad thing.
Because in order to submit, two people have to submit. A lot of people don't know that about that. Right? So if I'm submitting as a man to say that I vow to be open and honest and listen and observe, right? And to treat you
and protect
and to
provide,
elevate you,
yeah.
right? But elevate you in the time and fashion that you would like to be elevated. Or that you are open to be elevated.
I won't disrespect you in public and around your friends or family.
Not just that part, but a woman
that comes without saying.
She will be more apt to receive this energy.
Disrespect you, period.
While she's women look for love, right?
Yeah.
I think we need the love. We don't look for it. We look for the respect. So if a woman is respectful to us, she can get anything and everything, and I'll go above and beyond. But the first time I'm disrespected, she could not have loved me because of disrespect happened. So I'm going to flip it. We disrespect women much too often. So that when we are trying to receive the love, they hold back on it a lot.
That's true too.
And that's just from my male perspective. But do you feel that could be true, Bree?
I definitely. You said so much there. So I'm just trying to unpack a little bit of it, and without going on a tangent.
Right. Because I didn't want to take her turn. See, I wanted to share with her because she sparked that energy and inspired me to have that thought.
So as I listen to you, I'm hearing when you're speaking your truth.
Right.
You speak with clarity. You say what you mean. You're saying what you mean, and you mean what you say. And I could see that in your personal relationships. I don't know, if you're partnered up or if you have a woman or anything like that. I can see that this is how you speak to your lady.
Right.
I can see that because you're speaking with us in the same way.
Right.
So this is a manner of how you carry yourself and how you communicate, and it's very effective and it's great.
Right.
Everybody does it.
And that's not for everybody, and I'm not for everybody.
Okay.
So me being so outspoken,
Okay.
a woman would say, who does he think he is? And guess what? I would say, I know who I am, queen, and you're still a queen. Have you ever said, young lady, you look nice? And she says, And you know what I say after that? I say, I didn't waste 15 seconds of breath telling you that. I meant it.
Yeah.
You do look beautiful, but I see that you don't feel beautiful. And that's not me being misogynistic. I took a part of my day to give her something that she may have needed. If she didn't need it, take what you could use, throw the rest away.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't me doing a forward aggressive act. It was me
It's
showing
not always.
compassion.
It's not. Yeah. Sometimes, ladies, it's not always a pickup line, or it's not always an intro to a pickup line. Like I remember growing up as a young man from Africa. You know, I mean, coming here, yeah, I saw the knuckleheads and the way they picked up women, and I didn't approve of it all the time. Not, period. So I had my own style of picking up women, and it didn't work for a lot of my friends, even my cousins.
Let's not use the word pickup. Let's use the word engaging.
Engage. I take that back.
See, we want to present a new energy for the new man, for the new year, for 2022, for the Mercury retrograde that's trying to like rewind us all.
Mercury is a microwave.
Microwave. So when I engage, like even I used to love, and I still love, hopping on a train, a PATH train, in the summer, you know, and, you know, feeling nice with a nice little glass of wine, or spark a nice little blunt, and just go on a nice little adventure and just see beautiful people on the train. Beautiful people. And sometimes, you know, they'll be so beautiful to the point where I'm like, did somebody let you know that you're beautiful? Just give them a compliment.
Right.
And just keep it moving.
So I'm sure
A simple compliment without nobody, no expectations, is he trying to pick me up? Why did he say that? I clutched my purse. Now it's different. Now, like you said, now it's like you give somebody a compliment, they're like,
you know what? When Sarah answers, when the coach answers, I want to give her, both of you guys, a bonus question, a bonus statement for you to give us, is the readiness. When we as people are not ready to receive, can we still be cordial and it be effective just as we do in our professional lives? Because when our boss or someone who we do business with is in a administrative state and they have information to share with us or tell us, we receive that in a whole new light than we receive information or dialogue from a person.
So just to and I don't want to jump in
No, it's
the
good,
order
it's
here.
good.
There is a video that I saw someone shared on my Facebook page. Well, somebody shared on their Facebook page, and it was James Baldwin and Gwendolyn Brooks, I believe, and they were having almost like this very similar dialogue about the black man and the black woman, and it was very interesting.
I think I saw that.
It was so interesting to watch because, you know, if you know about James Baldwin, you know, he is being the author through this. I'm not to
Super eclectic.
Right. He's super eclectic. Right. And I'm just being very vague on that one, but my language is clear on that. So that. But that's how I communicate. Yes. The unspoken is sometimes enough said. But
give up some for that.
They're having this conversation, and he said something about, you know, she said something about why is it that when you go, and she says it just like this, when you go to the job and the foreman tells you what to do, you listen. But when you come home to me, I get all of your drama, my brother, and all the aggression, and, you know, why can't you just lie to me? This is what that's what. So anyways, I don't want to, because we don't have that to show.
Yes.
But it really triggered that. And it was a great conversation about that.
That is Thank you for taking us there.
Wow.
That definitely set a stage. And Sarah,
Yeah.
could you give us your insight concerning those same endeavors or ideals? Ideals is a better word.
All right. So you guys talked about a whole lot, but I'm gonna touch on three things that came to mind as you were talking. Number one, I recently read a book called Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus.
Yes, dope book.
I read
Yes.
that to absolutely everybody. And the premise of that book is differentiating between the core of what a woman is and the core of what a man is, and how we communicate in our respective environments and how we can communicate together. So I love when Shaw gave that example that men want to be respected, and when they don't feel respect, men actually do this thing where they add and minus points. Women don't know this, right? So when you do something that a man may feel adverse to or feel annoyed by or something, he will take away points, and that's when it comes out in his action or lack thereof. Whereas women, we are the nurturers, right? The love is endless with us. And what we tend to do, and what it sounds like was going on in that room that Tolu jumped into, was that we continue to give love. Like, it just comes out of us over and over and over again. Even when we're upset, we're still going to cook you dinner, right? We're still going to do the things that make you feel good. And we get to this point of resentment.
Right. Was that author?
We love that we become resentful.
Was that author John Gray?
Yes.
Okay. I read that many years ago, but I read it at the same time I read Understanding a Black Man and Understanding a Black Woman by Shahrazad Ali. And they have some of the same coincidence that they put in effects in their writing. And I think we can't get it all from writing, but some of it all reading, but we can get it from the communication and the conversation, type of conversations we're having today. This is the start of a whole new ideal. So thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt, but it was on the mind. Sorry.
Oh, thank you for sharing. And I think it adds to the conversation, right? So my point in bringing up that book is it allows us to see that women, we are and we communicate completely different than men. And what contributes to the miscommunication is we want our partners to communicate like us. We sit across from a man and we want him to communicate like a woman. Or a man is across from his woman hoping that she would communicate like he does. It doesn't work that way.
Wow.
Yeah.
We do learn each other and learn our communication styles so we can better understand each other. So that's the first thing that I wanted to touch on.
Yes.
All right. The second thing here is something I just learned recently in the past couple of days is when a man provides, a woman submits. There's no question about it. If I have candles burning and my plants around me,
that crown is on for
Say
real.
that again. You get all kinds of applauses on that.
All right.
when a man provides, a woman submits. And I want you to hear the second part. When the man submits, woman multiplies. That goes together. So living in this world where people are, and the reason why we feel this way, we're living in a social media world where, oh, I'm making as much money as him, so I don't need him.
Yeah.
Right? We can't live like that. Because now we have all of these, and I'm going to stick to black women, all these black women that living up in their house with their Louis Vuitton this, right?
And they cats and they dogs.
That, but they ain't got no man in the house.
And they cats and they dogs.
No either, right? We need each other. This is not a competition. So again, when the man provides, and I'm not talking he got to make $1 million. When a man provides, he comes over, he fixes shit. He goes and picks up your 5-gallon water from down the street. As you can see, I have 5.
You see what I'm talking about? You see what I'm talking about?
We submit. And when we submit, guess what? He submits. And then we multiply.
So we submit, sis. So that that she said he submits, she submits.
It's a submitting
we
going
submit.
both ways.
He provides.
Right.
She submits. he submits, she multiplies.
Multiplies. Yes.
So you got one more point, right? One more, or
that was a 3.
That was a 3.
So
No, that was the second one.
Okay.
That was the second one. She got one more because Brianna got something that I think she got something she want to add on to that, but we'll let you.
Go ahead.
I don't want to interrupt you.
Now I'm taking notes too. I'm just, this is good stuff.
I like to be the person who just shakes it up a little bit. And you said the S word, submission. Mm-hmm. She said submission. Mm-hmm. What I find and what I am seeing is that with black people who come from the Judeo-Christian religion, even if they don't practice it, okay, they still, people who are descendants of slaves, use the word submit so much in their language, in their conversations, in their relationships. Now, I think of it from a different perspective. I think of it from a perspective of freedom and choice, and choosing one another, and we choose each other. But I think that language is very important, because when I hear the word submit, I don't hear my white friends saying submit, submit, submit. I do hear, my mother lives in Oklahoma, so sometimes I run across conservative Christians. They use it a lot. They use it a lot. So when I hear the word submit, it irks me a bit, not because, I'm a strong black woman and I can't listen to a man and I'm independent. No, it's because...
Can I interject, though?
Okay.
Not to cut your wisdom.
But you did.
But no. Because
I kind of did.
Before you get to the next piece.
I had something really deep.
Okay, go
because I really because I'm going to lose
it.
So I think that we, as descendants of slaves, free people, I think that we need to use the language of free people. And when we say, like in New Orleans, we used to have, like, the old timers, Iona. That's my cousin Iona. And they would name their children Iona. I can't think of the, because Iona, she's mine. And those type of, I can't think of those names off the top of my head, but they name their children in those ways because at one point, ownership of your children or having ownership of your children or your person being owned was a reality. So when I hear ownership and submission, I hear something completely different. And I think that when I speak, I want to speak the language of a free person on this soil.
Indeed.
And
and that's give her hand claps for that. That is those are valid. I'm gonna say it 3 times so everyone gets it. Points. And I am agreeing with you. But English is a bastard language. Therefore, we are re-traumatized by things that happen in our past that we don't even identify with a lot of times. So to you, where a word that is meant to, that you identify with slavery or things of that nature, I may take in a different sense, being from a different geographic region, and use that word to empower. Because now the same Judeo-Christians that go in front of their pastor, the imam, and they say, we're getting married. And they said, do you promise to love, trust, and obey?
And serve.
But submission is a word that bothered you. But obey, once you get this ring on, I obey, But
I just think that
that's the
it's
dynamic.
Overused. I just think that it's overused.
But it's the same.
I think it's overused. So I hear this, black women need to submit. Black women need to submit. Black women need to submit.
No, not need. For me, I would like for
if
my
I
woman
go,
to have to be able to submit so that I can submit fully and not be a 50-50 thing. I want to give 100% of myself to her.
We don't have 100%.
We don't have a problem. So we're preaching to the choir, but she's bringing up valid points that we have to educate our brothers that don't even understand that word may.
And watch this. I never even
Push 'em.
realized that it was an issue to submit. Like, you
Right.
know, like, because I was never brought up like that.
Right.
You know, I just knew that, hey, you open the door for women, you walk on the right side of the road.
But
so
that's chivalry.
Yeah,
That's-
you
that's
know,
not-
like.
But there are
you
men
carry-
who go around and go, I'm the man of the house, you must
No,
submit.
no.
There's a lot of dynamics, and if you go
So-
into the clubhouse sphere of just, you just show up and you're a man, and I'm supposed to submit. Hey, if you're behind the wheel and you don't know where you're going,
Okay.
nah.
So we got to go to a
quick commercial.
but we're going to come back and talk about reflection, right reflection and wrong reflection. And I think we're committing to a dialogue that we can maybe understand and accept some things from each other and learn.
Okay, so let's go to this commercial. Who we got? Marcus B&V. Let's go.
Give me some. We're back and we're working.
We back and we working. Illmind Capsule.
And we're learning.
Oh, this is a great conversation.
Yes, that's
so,
part.
So we'll let Coach Sarah go with her last point before we. But that was a great point that both of you guys hit just earlier. But we'll let you get to your last point, and then we'll see. We'll see if anybody has any feedbacks.
Okay, so to be honest with you guys, I can't remember the last point that I had in my mind, right? But I do want to expand upon this whole word of submission and the discomfort with it.
Okay.
It's directly, as Brianne continued to explain it, it's like there's a direct tie to slavery and the implications of that versus actually being with what it means to submit. Now, like I told you, I shared with you guys earlier, I'm currently seeing someone that's got me in a space of wanting to submit for the first time ever. And why is that? Why is that? In the past, I have not necessarily been open to it, but also maybe not engaging the type of person that, what do you say, man provides, woman submits, right? And as I even take on this word submission, what I'm seeing in myself is a softening of me. Again, women are in this land of we provide for ourselves. We do everything for ourselves.
Survival
and we got
of the
our
fittest.
Talk to, right? So we up here like, yo, we could go to bat with you until you meet that man that is like, man provides, woman submits, meaning you don't have to be up to bat anymore because you got a king.
You got somebody that's helping, willing to help. Yeah. Yeah, you got somebody that's willing.
You soften yourself willingly because it feels good to relax and to trust and to receive. And when a man experiences that softness, all he wants to do is kiss your feet. That's it.
Submission is
And
given,
from there
not
we
taken.
multiply.
That's right.
So basically, what I'm getting from this conversation is submission softens up the soul. It softens up the spirit for both parties.
Well, no. What she said is that she met a man that made her want to submit. So not the submission itself softens her, but his ways and actions leading up to the submission.
Yeah, but then in turn, what happens is he gets a softer side of her.
Right. He gets a soft, but
that doesn't mean
the
that.
prize.
But that
He had to work for that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm getting to.
He had to work, and we working.
Yeah.
So we're working and we're learning. Sarah, dopeness. Your points definitely help. Personally, inspired me to look at things, as well as Bray, to look at things with a more global mindset, not just the 90 degrees by 4 that I occupy, which is 360 degrees, my cipher, but to honor the ciphers of others, and to, while I'm elevating myself, it's self-regulation, and then there's co-regulation, right? And when you're in a partnership, you commit to a community of 2 or more people, because now you talk about children, you're talking about if you do get married, you talk about the mother, your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, the uncle, the brother. See, this is a community. This is a whole stead that we're creating.
But look at all those communications that you have to have just from one interaction with one person.
Yes.
Because you communicated your affection or your emotions, your energy and emotions to one person, look at the door it opens up the other communications that you have to have in order to keep that one communication in place.
I agree 100%. That's why you my brother.
What do you think about that?
Lakeisha F. from YouTube chat says, it takes great strength to fully submit to someone else.
Wow.
Thank you for that, Lakeisha.
Lakeisha F.
Give it up.
Shout outs.
Shout
YouTube is watching.
Yes, it
Great
is.
strength to fully submit to someone.
It takes great strength to fully submit to somebody.
Lakeisha F.
Wow. What y'all
Thanks
think
for
about
tuning
that?
in.
I want to just jump in on this for a second, and I want to pull back of the qualities of femininity, and I want to touch on femininity and submission being a quality of femininity, but it's not the only part of femininity.
Oh, of course.
And I'm a feminine woman in my demeanor, in my speech, and how I carry myself, how I relate to others, how I relate to men. I don't raise my voice. It's just not something that I can really do. It's hard for me to do. So when I hear this one part of submission, I'm not hearing the other parts of femininity. And I feel like we really need to open up the conversation of what is a feminine woman? What is feminine energy? What is feminine energy and masculine energy? What's feminine energy, masculine energy do we have in ourselves? And even as men, let me just really go there. What's your own balance of feminine energy and masculine energy?
I love it.
But I agree. I see, we had a conversation when when women are together, something you guys often do that us men may not do. We do have barbershop talk, but a lot of it's buffoonery, it's foolishness, right? When you guys have shop talk or just couch talk with a young lady, with ladies, it's deep. And that's how you guys are able, you ladies, I don't want to say guys, you ladies, are able to engage and incorporate these ideals that you personally have been thinking, and you're able to try it out on a fellow female.
Okay.
To see if it even sounds like something that should be visited at all. So now we're able to, on this red table, invite 2 women and 2 men to the conversation. So what I want to bring is all my masculinity. Mastering females is not what I want to do. I want you to be able to, or the female, to be able to bring that femininity to me, and for me to be able to, on sight, on scent, on the entire aura, understand that this is feminine energy. There's too many talks about a male getting in contact with his female self. My masculinity is my masculinity. I'm talking about XY chromosome. I'm scientist too. 23 chromosomes, XY versus the XX. So the point I'm making is that to be soft and subtle, to a woman doesn't have to have the title or entitlement of feminine energy. It's masculine energy,
but knows how to submit.
being able to be projected to the right source. So when I'm talking to certain people, I'm talking. If I'm a coach and I'm talking to young men about basketball, yo, move! I need you to move right now. I'm a shop foreman. Yo, get those boxes out of here right now. When I'm talking to my lady, it may be a softer tone. Mm-hmm. It may be a softer energy.
But it's still masculine.
It's all masculine.
It's always masculine.
Because this is a day, and nothing, no shots to LGBTQ, but which I support those who want to be themselves, right? But in that LGBTQ, the S is me, straight and masculine. And that's what I'm going to project. Mm. So I'm not for everyone. Some people I'm too much for. Mm. But if I've offended anyone, I'm also the same one that said, you know what? I did come across a little aggressive with you. I apologize for that. But like, can we have a communal conversation so that we can get back to the plus, adding on, elevating?
Now, my perspective on that, I'm all masculine. I come with the masculine energy. However, in the last 2 years, going through my last relationship, it made me connect with my feminine side. It made me take a look at.
So you feel like you got a female side?
No.
That's what you're
it's
saying.
Just, no.
No, that's
there's
what
two.
you're
Like there's a balance. I didn't say that. It's like when you're my feminine. It's
side.
Like, watch this.
So what did
when
you
you're
say?
born, right? You're born with both energies, masculine and feminine.
Yes.
Now you have. Part of the journey in life or evolving is learning how to balance both. But neither swing too far off to one side or to the other side. Knowing when to pull out. Knowing when I'm always walking in my masculine.
Before I came out my mom, it was decided. Because not just my physical attributes, but I was a male. Mm-hmm. Yes, you went through that 9 months of middle passage, right? Mm-hmm. And there's some evolution happening there, right? We're not directing that to who identifies with what. Mm-hmm. But yes, we are, because I'm identifying with my masculine.
Now, when I say balancing out the energies, right? See, when you have certain interactions with certain people, I'll speak for myself. Mm-hmm. When I interact with certain women, based off the interaction, I could tell if she's operating too far in her masculinity and where the source of that is. Now it comes automatically like, oh, I can tell her she didn't have her father or a male figure in her life. So now she felt like she had to take on or project or really live into that masculine side. Now, growing up, I'm not gonna sit here in front like me and my mom always had or saw eye to eye. I used to get beat up the most. Mm-hmm. So guess what? It made me create some kind of complex towards her. Like, why does this woman hate me? Why are women like this? It made me think that maybe all women want to hurt me. All women want to. So
let me show you something.
It made me. Well, hold on.
Go ahead.
I operated more in my masculinity. Uh-huh. And some people might have called it misogyny, to where it hit a moment where I had to go back and reflect and do my inner work and start looking at the past traumas. Okay. Start looking at, mom she wasn't trying to kill me, she wasn't trying to hurt me. I did this and she was trying to instill some discipline. So I can't project or take my anger or whatever I felt from her and pass it all around.
So right now, what we're doing, 3 different episodes of people's lives and where we came from and how we perceive things.
Cultural.
What we're doing is that too. Yeah. We're healing right now. Yeah. Now I'm gonna show you something. You spoke about mom, mom and dad, right? I spoke about mom. But dad, I knew who he was, right? And he was in my life. but I had to be the man in the house. So there was no time maybe for me to even touch into feminine energy if that was
I didn't have time for it either.
No, if that is something to be addressed. So I had to be the protector, so that's my end goal, but not my whole goal. You understand what I'm
So
saying?
there's a term that I've discovered. It's called the Parentified Child, where the child, and I know we got to wrap this up, where the child takes the role of the parent.
No,
from
that's
a young
that.
age.
I work with kids. I definitely can identify with that.
Wow.
That's not the energy that I was speaking on.
You're speaking on, okay.
Right? Because the family setting was still.
But there is
still
that.
there.
But there is that a lot prevalent.
But I didn't have to. Mom would work 2 jobs, right? The masculine me saw that a woman was taking on the job of more than one person. Therefore, at an early age, I said,
go out there and
she didn't parentify me and say, you got to make your own food, you got to do this.
Oh, yeah.
No, everything still was done for me.
But
Man,
you was out there,
I grew up quicker.
out there getting it.
I said, listen,
Same
not
thing.
my mother, not my queen, right? So now when we say this, and last, we want to be able to get to Sarah to let her get in.
Yeah.
Last comment by me is that we want to get to a place where we can identify with these feelings, emotions, and not treat them as if something is not important to yourself or others. Because when we share them in an open forum, it brought a positive energy to me to speak to. And before you guys came here, you were strangers. I actually look at you as family and sisters. And because your way of delivery, your integrity, the trust, we formed that today.
Yeah, trust.
So we'll go to Sarah and then we'll close out.
Yeah, we'll get some last comments from the studio, last comments from anybody else, and we'll close out. Sarah?
And thank you for coming, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for having.
So the last thing I want to add is always, for me, I always share from a place of my personal experience. And I realize as a nurturer, as the first child and the first of 4 girls, I have always been a giver. Give, take care of everybody else. And that put me in the mindset that I had to do that. It wasn't until recently that I realized that when I humble myself, and this has a lot to do with communication, when your ego speaks for you, it gets in the way. The minute that I humbled myself and realized that I don't have to give to everybody, I don't have to be the provider for everyone, I don't have to be the safe space for everyone, I turned my ego down a bit, and that's when I was able to receive the love. That's when I was able to see that it's okay to be it's easy.
Yes.
Right? So I'm saying this from a space of understand when your ego is talking, all goes back to self-awareness. When you can identify when your ego's talking versus when you're talking from the soul, you can turn that down and allow yourself to receive. And that's receiving communication, receiving love, receiving support. And of course, we're here talking about relationships and communication within those spaces. So again, turn down the ego and allow yourself to receive.
And I think this conversation is so thick that we're gonna have to invite you guys back for the part.
Oh yeah,
2.
this is. I feel like this is so short that
we may have to do once a month with the young lady, with these ladies,
and open it up to other people too, like so that we can hear other people's perspectives
or just like kind of
and experiences.
The male, female, or even have
or we can
people of different gender.
Right.
We can invite more people.
Are you guys open to do that?
Sure.
There's more than 2 genders.
Yeah, we can invite more people into the Zoom and
yes.
But I just wanted to give a final word about communicating, and just to track back to what I said about are we speaking the same language? I think that going back to your comment, Sarah's comment about energy and speaking the same language, and having empathy and the ability to receive and hear, but also the ability to understand that everyone has their own perspectives, and a lot of times their traumas are informing their perspectives. So, or our own traumas are informing our perspectives.
Indeed.
Having that amount of not just self-awareness, but the awareness of others is probably a lifelong lesson. Meaning that I may respond in a certain way. If I grew up in a home that was abused, I did not. Okay,
Right.
I may grow up in a way, and someone might have those type of triggers, and it might take a lifetime of them to repair those triggers. And someone else might have a certain type of trigger, and where we get the disconnect is that their triggers are triggering each other, and that they are they are bouncing off of one another. So I think one of the things that we all have to acknowledge, and is acknowledge that we are all here. We're all living a human experience. We're all unhealed in some way, shape, and form, and that we all have. And to go back to I feel versus I think, or what's concrete. Somewhere in the balance of what I think and what I feel and what is concrete and there's evidence, I think you'll find the truth.
Dope.
Wow.
That's it.
I think on that note, that was the wrap up right there.
That's definitely the wrap up. Give me some.
I don't have nothing. Can we go to commercial? Listen, I don't have nothing else to say.
Say virtual high five to Sarah.
Virtual high five to Sarah.
Shout out to Disney Foot.
Disney's on the
Foot,
line.
shout out.
On the line.
Disney's on the line. Disney, you owe me several calls, Disney. We got to get you on this show. Talk some realtor stuff. We're trying to own some properties. We're ill my Capsule. Who else?
Disney's middle name is Brianne.
Oh, wow.
Give it up for the Breeze.
Okay.
The Breeze are in the
There can only be just one. No.
Watch that ego.
Shout out to Jerry Africa in the
Movie
building.
fan.
Shout out to Core in the building.
Core
in the background. We got Nick in the building. Frozone. Can't forget.
Pew pew.
Anybody else we forgetting?
The Capsule lights.
The Capsule lights.
Those who tuned in. Thank you.
Keon, I mean, he was supposed to be here today, but
Absent Keon.
he'll be back.
Absentee.
And everybody else that's
We want a sick note, Keon.
Nope.
And everybody else that's been a part of the Capsule and continue to be a part of the Capsule, we are grateful for you. Any last words before we sign out? We definitely gotta do this again.
Yeah, I usually say peace and blessings, but we want to say keep learning, keep earning,
and keep working.
We out.
Commercial?
What you want, t-shirts or
T-shirts.
Yeah.